Today on the Morning Edition, we look back at a weekend filled with violence and marred by tragedy. In Rhode Island, students still struggle to cope and understand why their school was the target of a still unknown gunman. Plus, the Jewish community across the world mourns together for the victims of a mass shooting in Australia at Bondi Beach, targeting a celebration to mark the beginning of Hanukkah, marring what should be a joyous occasion with terrible loss and tragedy. And Rob Reiner, a famous director known for his movies such as Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, and A Few Good Men, found in his home along with his wife with stab wounds in what is now an open investigation. As the Morning Edition starts now. Good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. We wanted to note that Juneau School District are closed today because of they're expecting some heavy snow in Southeast. Plus, we've got all these winds here in South Central. Aaron, we've got a lot to talk about weather-wise.
Yeah, we'll get to Juneau and Southeast here over the next couple of minutes. But as far as the big impacts across the state, continues to be right here in South Central with some of those high winds that have been with us for well over 48 hours now. And those winds have been gusting as high as about 90 miles per hour in some areas. This morning here in Anchorage, we're still holding on to some gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And we do have a high wind warning from Anchorage into the valley as well as out towards Valdez, Thompson Pass until later this afternoon. And that high wind warning goes into effect or expires at noon today. This is where we could still hold on to winds coming out of the northeast up to 45 miles per hour with gusts in excess of 75 miles per hour. Now, that is for the high wind warnings. Meanwhile, as you head out towards northwestern parts of the Kenai, we are seeing a wind advisory. Now, some of the strongest winds for the Kenai will be out towards the Cook Inlet region. And while your winds can gust up to 45 miles per hour, can't rule out the occasional gust that could be up to about 50 miles per hour. And current winds are showing winds out towards Kenai out of the north up to 26 miles per hour, excluding the gusts. These are just current winds. You can see many areas holding on to winds of about 20 to 40 miles per hour, but those gusts certainly have been higher and will continue to remain with us throughout the day. The good news is there is some silver lining in the forecast as we head into the evening hours. Those winds will begin to subside across South Central. However, we could still see some occasional gusts of about 30 to 40 miles per hour into tomorrow afternoon. But the vast majority of South Central will see those winds die down later today. When you factor in those winds with those current temperatures, many areas seeing wind chills in the single digits, if not sitting near 0 degrees this morning. So bundle up as you head outdoors as those winds remain with us. We'll see plenty of sunshine sticking around in the forecast. Temperatures in the teens and the 20s today. Colder weather arrives throughout the week. I'll have more on that 7-day coming up.
Two mass shootings, a half a world apart, dominating the headlines this morning and reigniting the issue of gun violence here at home. Rhode Island officials said overnight they were releasing a person of interest in the shooting at Brown University, with evidence now pointing in a different direction. President Trump spoke about the deadly shootings at Brown and at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. Investigators designating that one a terrorist attack designed to target Jewish people. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
After a weekend of devastating gun violence from the campus of Brown University in Rhode Island, where 2 people were killed, 9 injured in a classroom.
Rescue 1 just transported 1 victim.
To the shores of Sydney, Australia, with at least 15 people killed, close to 30 in the hospital, in what investigators call an anti-Semitic attack. President Trump weighing in.
To the 9 injured, get well fast, and to the families of those 2 that are no longer with us, I pay my deepest regards and respects from the United States of America.
That as investigators in Rhode Island said overnight they were releasing a person of interest in the Brown shooting.
There was some degree of evidence that pointed to this individual, but that evidence needed to be corroborated and confirmed. That evidence now points in a different direction.
Security video shows a person believed to be the shooter with no clear image of their face as investigators raced to track down the gunman, the mayor of Providence looking to ease the community's fears.
We have not received any credible or specific threats to the Providence community.
While in Australia, police have identified 2 suspects, a father and son, accused of terrorism targeting Jewish people who were celebrating the first day of Hanukkah at Bondi Beach, one of Australia's most popular tourist sites.
What was the most shocking was how long the gunfire lasted.
The 50-year-old suspect fatally shot at the scene, his 24-year-old son in custody and hospitalized with critical injuries. A bystander being hailed a hero for disarming one of the gunmen. Australian officials said they may move to tighten already strict gun laws, while on Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers again pressed to bring gun safety legislation to the forefront. One Brown University student was injured in a 2019 shooting at her California high school. Another was in the adjacent middle school during the 2018 Parkland mass shooting. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Meantime, here at home, an Alaskan cardiologist recently charged with possession of child sex abuse material is unaccounted for after his home burned down Saturday night after he was bailed out of jail. Adelmi Ruiz joins us now with more. Adelmi.
Kristen, that's according to Alaska State Troopers, who say human remains have been found at the site of the fire. 46-year-old cardiologist Ryan McDonough is the one facing those charges. Troopers say the remains were of a man and they are being taken to the state medical examiner's office to be identified. When troopers said earlier that McDonough was unaccounted for, they said the other people who lived in the home were safe. Troopers say investigation into the fire, including the cause, is ongoing. We reached out to McDonough's attorney for comment, but did not immediately hear back. We have more details on our website. And as the wind ripped through Anchorage over the weekend, a fire broke out on J-Bear at the 11th Airborne Division headquarters. Officials confirmed. A viewer sent us this photo. A J-Bear spokesperson said after the fire had been put out that civil engineers and base authorities were assessing the damage. She says everyone was accounted for and no injuries were reported. Kristen.
All right, thanks, Adelmi. Safety concerns were top of mind Saturday in North Pole as inches of snow fell, leading to city leaders canceling the Parade of Lights just hours before it was set to roll. Adrian Peterson was there as the events unfolded.
I'm a little disappointed. I figured, hey, we're an interior Alaskan community. This is just another day in the life of, and we're going to do this. But there are safety concerns, and there are the community that we got to worry about, so.
Described as a magical illuminated procession of decorated vehicles, the parade was meant to go through the city of North Pole. But safety was the top priority for City Mayor Larry Turch.
You know, we got a foot or more of snow out here in the medians on Badger Road. It's really a safety concern for our citizens, and when we canceled it, it was still coming down.
While the spirit of Christmas will continue on, it's clear that the folks and festivities in North Pole must submit to Father Winter, and the future of the parade remains uncertain. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's news source.
And it was a chilly Saturday in Anchorage, and some took the plunge, getting even colder.
3, 2, 1.
This is the 17th annual Polar Plunge for Special Olympics Alaska. The organization's president and CEO says more than 800 people came out to jump into Goose Lake. Luckily, there were hot tubs for participants to warm up in afterward. She says they exceeded their fundraising goal by late morning and that it means a lot to the athletes who know that the community is behind them. On J-Bear, hundreds of people braved a brutally cold Saturday morning to lay wreaths on the graves at Fort Richardson National Cemetery, part of the yearly Wreaths Across America event. Charlie Fellows was on site to capture the sights and sounds of the event.
There is tough and there is Alaska tough.
May these evergreen wreaths remind us that their legacy lives on, enduring, faithful, and worthy of our continued remembrance.
The wind is Alaska. Look at our veterans who fought at Kiskonatu in World War II. Look at our veterans who fought at Chosin Reservoir. The cold conditions that the 8th Army and the 1st Marine Division took. You know, that's cold. Everyone who serves here in the Arctic feels the warmth of this community despite the Arctic cold. It's the way that we take care of each other. Halt! Halt! Breathe in. Push! Oh, it's about honoring American soldiers who made the ultimate.
and it's about giving back. You never ask nothing in return.
Standing out here in the winter light, making time to honor them is part of what it means to live and serve in Alaska. We show up for each other regardless of the numbing, bitter cold. We show up regardless of the long dark. We show up for each other regardless of the circumstances.
Saturday's ceremony was one of more than 5,000 taking place all across the country to honor fallen veterans. Gas prices keep sliding in much of the country, and the impact is now showing up on the North Slope. ConocoPhillips confirms up to a 12.5% of its North Slope workforce was laid off this fall. Augusta McDonald breaks down what cheaper gas could signal for Alaska's oil and gas economy and what it may mean for those all-important energy jobs moving forward.
Well, first of all, I don't think that it comes as much of a surprise. This is a move that's fairly typical of energy companies when they see decreases in prices.
University of Alaska Anchorage economics professor Brett Watson says oil prices have remained low for the past year and continue to decline.
Many international and U.S.-based agencies anticipate further declines in oil prices over the next year, and this is the type of move that's typical for companies that work in volatile industries like oil and gas or mining to make reductions in their workforce when they see lower commodity prices.
Low prices now facing the industry are due in part to high output by OPEC and other oil producers. In terms of the impact of energy supply and demand on job futures, Watson says don't expect a future increase in oil prices to mean job numbers will also rise accordingly.
What does this mean for, at least in the foreseeable future, for job security?
Well, one of the important long-term trends that I think it's important to talk about is the productivity gains that the industry has experienced. Companies are figuring out how to put more wells on a single pad, drill more wells with a single rig, and for those wells to be longer and deeper, which allows more oil production to come from a single well. All of that means that it takes fewer workers to produce the same amount of oil that it did 15 or 20 years ago.
Watson says overall, Alaska's economy has performed better than the rest of the country in the past year. Augusta McDonald, Alaska's news source.
Still to come, one family's truly unique holiday tradition may not sound like anything you'd expect, but that doesn't change the fact that it's one that's lasted for years for them. We'll show you how it's filling a special need and assisting others next.
And high winds remain with us across South Central. I'll break down what that means through the rest of the day and colder weather heading our way. First at sunrise, 10:09 in Anchorage, 10:52 in Bethel. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back. 16 minutes past the hour on this Monday morning. Lots of weather going on across the state, but we do want to note that Aurora Elementary School in Anchorage is closed due to a power outage. Aaron, we know we've got those strong winds that are still going.
Yeah, and that is going to continue to be a concern today with those winds, down trees, power outages, and of course some blowing debris from the winds that led to some damage through the weekend. And we've been holding on to some gusts of 50 to 90 miles per hour. And good news is those winds will subside into the night, but of course we've got another day where we are going to continue to hold on to some of those stronger winds. Now, these are max winds so far since midnight. Palmer, you can see those winds gusting up to 90 miles per hour, nearly 60 miles per hour from Wasilla down towards Anchorage. A lot lower wind speeds across this Kenai, but still gusting anywhere from 30 to 45 miles per hour. And then, of course, out towards Valdez and Thompson Pass, we've been holding on to some of those stronger winds as well. So really notice it's favoring the Cook Inlet region down towards Kodiak and then bending into the Matanuska Valley out towards Sutton, down towards, as you head towards Valdez, Thompson Pass. These winds, as you can see throughout the day, will begin to gradually subside. Now, by 3 p.m. this afternoon, we'll still hold on to winds of about 40 to 65 miles per hour with those strongest winds along a corridor from Palmer, Sutton, stretching towards the southeast out towards Valdez and Thompson Pass. And then later this evening, we'll see those winds subside below about 30 miles per hour. Now, with that said, as we head through the day tomorrow, we could see some localized areas gusting back up to about 30 to 45 miles per hour, but the vast majority of South Central will see those winds subside into the evening hours. And as that occurs, we'll begin to tap into even colder conditions that will settle into the region as we welcome in the rest of this week. And like we've been talking about, we'll continue to hold on to some dry conditions as well. So still seeing somewhat warmer weather as you head across western and southwest Alaska. Now, this is relative to what we have been sitting up under. Still chilly across the state, but notice these temperatures dropping across the rest of Alaska as we welcome in the coming days. This is our secondary cold snap that's already impacting parts of the interior as well as locations along the slope. And these temperatures will steadily drop throughout the rest of the week. In fact, you can see from Fairbanks out towards McGrath, we're about 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday, 8 degrees colder in Kotzebue. And while we are still slightly warm here across South Central, those winds have kept temperatures pretty elevated through the night. We are going to see those temperatures quickly drop here as we welcome in the coming days. So windy weather stays with us. Looking ahead for the foreseeable future, you can see we stay dry across South Central, not looking likely that we'll add anything in the form of precipitation as our snow depth continues to increase. We'll likely see our snow depth by week's end sitting anywhere from about 14 to 17 inches below where we should be sitting at. But there's those temperatures steadily dropping, single-digit highs to be expected, and there's those overnight lows throughout the rest of this week. Will steadily drop, likely near to below sub-zero values. Some of the coldest mornings will likely occur later this week. So winds die down later today. We may see a brief resurgence into our Tuesday, but mostly sunny skies and colder weather to follow through the week.
Well, we all have our family traditions during the holiday season. Well, Georgina Fernandez shows us how one Alaska family's tradition is centered around a life-saving act that is especially needed this time of year.
From tree lightings to sledding down the hill, we all have our special holiday traditions. This family's tradition, though, a quick poke, a little different. Since 2017, these Santa helpers, aka the Sluter and Davis family,
gives you the warm and fuzzy on these cold days,
have been giving the gift of life, donating blood at least twice a year, and always during the holidays as a family.
It's a good thing to do on the holiday with the families, and we're all together.
And we're ready to get started. Their donations critical now, as the Blood Bank of Alaska says there's a drop in donors during the holiday season.
The holidays are usually a difficult time for us just simply because people are busy with other things.
This time of year, the bank sees between 20 to 30% fewer donors, during a time when hospitals tend to see an increased need. Providence, Alaska Medical Center telling us that during winter months, that increase is due to higher incidences of vehicle crashes, as well as ongoing blood transfusion needs.
It definitely creates a tighter blood inventory for the blood bank because we're able to keep up with the hospitals, but we're not able to maintain fully that extra that we need to ensure that we are able to respond to the unexpected.
O positive and O negative blood types are the main needs. A gift.
It's a perfect, selfless gift
that takes an hour to give, that has the ability to save 3 lives.
Can't always give money, but you can always give blood.
To ensure someone's family traditions can continue another year. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
And the family says the tradition of donating blood actually started with their mother, who was a lifetime blood donor and took her sons with her to donate blood, making this now a 3-generation family tradition.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically, and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.